Hello to our worldwide viewership. It's your half-assed reporter again, James Kalm, the guy on the bike. And we are on West 18th Street. We're gonna run into Petzel. And we're gonna take a stroll through an exhibition by Wade Guyton titled Patagonia. I think that might be the artist right there. I first saw the work of Wade probably about 13 years ago. I probably had just started doing the Kalm report about 6 months before and popped into a show at the Museum of Modern Art with a press preview, and I believe the show was titled What is Painting? And they had examples of several artists' work. I think there'd probably be about 50 people in the show, but Wade was one of the final artist, or one of the most contemporary artists that they included in the show. And I looked at the work and I was kind of stunned, because what it was basically a large, I think it was an X. I'm not exactly sure what the typeface was, but it was a large X that had been mechanically printed onto a canvas. It was probably about 5 by 6 feet, something like that. And it wasn't until later, I covered his show at the Whitney, that I started to at least think about what he was doing, which you could say is a type of mechanically assisted conceptual painting. Well, right off the bat, I'm looking at the press release, and it's about 4 lines, so I'm already impressed with Wade's brevity, his austerity. Also, all of these pieces are, well, most of them are fairly large. I'll read a little bit from the press release. There's only a little bit. The exhibition includes images of paintings drying on the floor, scraps of linen, the remains of lunch, and other scenes of the studio. There is also one enlarged bitmap painting in red. So this is titled Untitled 2018 Epson UltraChrome K3 inkjet on linen. It's 128 by 108 inches. Well, I'll probably link some of the things that I already said, or videos that I've already done about Wade at his Whitney retrospective. One of the things that I was always kind of wondering about was the way that Wade has kind of based his career on the technology of this particular printer. I guess it's the Epson UltraChrome K3. Now, I guess he does a lot of tweaking and this and that, and maybe he even folds these pieces of linen over so that he can make larger pieces. And I think the conceptual aspect of this, as far as painting goes, is you just have to sort of think about this printer as another tool. This is also Untitled, 128 by 108 inches. interesting things, and the painterly aspects of this are his little blips, the little anomalies, the parts of the printing where the immaculate mechanical aspects break down. And you get these lines that are kind of like static on a TV set. His show at the Whitney had some fairly large paintings that were just huge gray fields. I mean, he may have just taken a gray tone and blown it up on the computer with some kind of Photoshop program and then printed a huge field of gray. Well, I still have questions about whether or not letting a machine have that big of a part in your practice is going to pan out. More Untitled. I think you could also, especially with this latest body of work where he is working with photographic images, I guess this is the edges of some of the linen that he's trimmed off. I think you could almost consider him a second generation pictures artist. I like this. This is 84 by 79. So 7 by 6.5 feet. In many ways, this references a lot of the current return to minimalism. Well, as a painter, I'm looking at some of the surfaces here, and I have to say, I do kind of like, there's a certain brusqueness, a certain nonchalance about the kind of the fudges or the ghost in the machine that Wade is able to kind of coax out of his printer. Scenes from the studio. Well, I've seen a lot of work recently that's dealing with what they call post-internet. A lot of images that are collected from the internet. Things that are using various types of mechanical printing. Most of these are split down the center because his printer only accommodates canvases, I believe. He was saying something like 6 feet wide. And it's my opinion, just because I'm kind of a bad boy and like the stuff that falls into the margins, I'm always more impressed where the technology starts to fall apart and somehow humanity's goobers get squished over to the edge somehow. Russian constructivist formalism. He's got a lot of the reds and blacks. This might be the title piece of the show. Patagonia. It's also one of the few pieces that's not dealing with these very quotidian subject matter of his kind of scraps around the studio. On the other hand, this kind of falls much more into just the contemporary idea of large-scale photography. Okay, at least we've got enough room. We can squeeze this into our frame. Untitled. But if you're a good forensic photo studier, we've got a few clues here. Zurich. Okay, and it looks like maybe he's got the Tagliche Spiegel, something pinned to the wall there. Okay, what does that tell you? Has Wade been living in Europe for the last year or two, putting these together in Switzerland? Or at least maybe taking the photos over there. Although the fire extinguisher sign is in English. Are those the New York recycling regulations on the side? I don't know. Picture of your garbage cans. You can't get much more down to earth than that. This is the piece that's from a red bitmap. This could be mistaken for some contemporary reductivist abstractions. So he's got this split with a very thin white seam. I'm wondering if this, what looks like almost a saw blade, is just a squib, a goober on the edge of his printer. Also, there's a lot of, it's like bleeding and kind of an illusion of depth. And I see people that are working with squeegees that get similar kinds of effects. Gerhard Richter is a master at doing those kinds of things. Untitled. Initially, I walked in here and thought this was a landscape. Almost reminds me of a Wayne Thiebaud painting. Maybe you're looking out on rice farms around Sacramento or something. Then as I got closer, I realized this is probably a fresh painting on the floor of the studio. The sun coming in through the window. I've been working on a map of the Lower East Side. Basically, it's centered on the Bowery, and maybe I shouldn't give away the secret, but I think Wade has a studio, or at least had a studio down there, not that far away from Nan Golden. And also, this is one of the few pieces that doesn't go into the red and black. This is kind of yellow ochre and even green. We'll complete our tour looking at this piece. Untitled. This looks like Colonel Chow's chicken here. In many ways, this is just classic still life. So this one seems to have fewer of the anomalies, the boogers. Yeah, so a lot of this is very kind of everyday, unremarkable subject matter that he's blown up to a massive scale, and in that way it kind of relates to pop art and people like Carl Soldenberg and Warhol. James Kalm reporting on Wade Guyton, Patagonia, here at Petzel. You can leave your comments, criticism, thoughts, reviews, questions, talking points below. Share this and like it. You can subscribe. And as always, please help me with this, folks. Thank you, Kate. Oh, thank you. Thank you.